Okay, she's all finished. And if you want to see the part where I tell you what the measurements are for the 36 inch, the 3x3, just hang on. It's coming next. But for all you other folks who don't need those measurements, I'll see you in the next video. All right, here we go. Let me tell you what the measurements are. Okay, for these, the hooves, you know, we split it in two, and each block was 2 1/4 inches wide. So you had 2 blocks of 2 1/4 inches here. Let me scoot you over. So that's 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. And remember, we split it in half. All right. Then, once we split it in half, remember, we just went down and up, down and up. So that's all you had to do on that border, except for up here. Now these blocks on the 36 inch are 2 1/4. Each block is 2 1/4 inches. Okay. Now here, that's 2 1/4. And once we got that line drawn, we already had this one. So we went in 2 1/4 on the 36 inch and drew another block all the way around. And so for the 36 inch, we still needed 5 blocks. So for 36 inches, that particular block was 22 inches wide. And we divided that by 5. And let me see what I got. It was 22 1/2 inches. I'm sorry. It's 22 1/2 inches wide, this part, this whole area. And we divided that by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got 1 1/2 inch blocks. Here is 1 1/2 inch. See? So these are 1 1/2 inch blocks, and there's 15 of them. And then we divided it into 3. So there's 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So you see what I did there? 3 times 3 1/2 is 4 1/2. So you could just say, isn't that right? Yeah, 4 1/2. I have to do that in my head. So you got 22 1/2, and just every 4 1/2 inches, you can mark it off that way and come up with 5 blocks. So you'd have 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 1/2, and then you could divide it into 1 1/2 inches. These small blocks here, and you'll have to do it here too. All right. It's 4 1/2 inches, and we came in 1 1/2 here and 1 1/2 here and drew tick marks right here, and that's how we got that little pathway. So that's the measurements for the 36 inch. So it's 2 1/2. Each one of these two are 2 1/2. This one's 2 1/2. These are 4 1/2 this way, or you could just do 15 at 1 1/2. And when you get up here, remember, this goes in 1 1/2, this goes in 1 1/2. So this block, see, is bigger. You got a 4 1/2 inch block here, but you got 4.5 and 1.5 is 6. You got a 6-inch block here. So these 4 are a little bit bigger than these. So just kind of keep that in mind or it'll get lopsided on you. All right. Thanks for hanging in there to the end. I'll see you in the next video.